The views and opinions expressed on this program do not necessarily reflect the views and opinions of 580 WCHS, its employees, or WVRC Media. From the studios of WVRC Media, the country, the United States of America, the state, West Virginia, the city, Charleston. This is the Dave Allen Show on 580 Live. And your host.
What we've got here is failure to communicate.
He's kind of a big deal.
I have come here to chew bubblegum and kick ass, and I'm all out of bubblegum.
Dave Allen.
Hey, folks, a good Monday morning to you. Welcome to the show. Senior producer Ryan Nicholson is in charge of things this morning. Bigly, Piggly, Wiggly, hotline 304-345-5858. Tony the Taylor text 304-935-5008. We're in the Jarrett Construction Studios, right on time, right on budget. Visit jarrett-construction.com. Phone calls to the show a service of Bigly, Piggly, Wiggly. Spring Street, Charleston. Texting services provided by West Virginia's finest men's store, Tony the Taylor, Virginia Street. Tony will resume his normal hours, the non-winter hours, coming up on March 16th. Now, mark these dates down, though. There's going to be an Oxford Clothes and Allen Edmonds Trunk Show on Thursday, March 19th, a Hart, Schaffner, Marks, and Johnston and Murphy Trunk Show on the 26th, a Brax Show on April 9th, and a DiBianco Footwear and Malcolm Trousers Show on April 23rd. Don't worry if you didn't catch all those. Full details are available on Tony's Facebook page and also at BestMasterTaylor.com. It is a Monday edition of the show. Everyone remember to do the right thing and do that spring forward thing Saturday night. It's sunny and 75 in the capital city. You know, I'm going to keep saying it till it comes true. And it may very well today because we're expecting temperatures, possibly record high temperatures over the next couple of weeks before we come crashing down by the end of the week. Welcome to March. Kanawha County Commission President Ben Salango is going to stop by in our next segment. Also, Danny Jones will stop by as he does each Monday. And, of course, we'll get to your calls and texts, too. Bigly, Piggly, Wiggly, hotline 304-345-5858. Tony the Taylor, text 304-935-5008. Quick programming note, in case I forget to mention it later. The GOAT, the Dean, Hoppy Kercheval, is returning to Talkline during the 11 o'clock hour today. He's going to do a special on Iran. So Wilson and that just means that Meadows gets out on the golf course sooner today. But Hoppy is doing a Talkline second hour today, all about Iran. Welcome into the show now, our good friend Delford Chafin to talk about the West Virginia International Film Festival. Good morning, sir. Welcome to the show.
Morning. Thanks for having me.
Thank you for being here. So tell us, you've been here in the past talking about it. Talk about it. A little bit more.
So, no, I was here in November to talk about our 40th anniversary festival.
Right, yeah.
That we had over at Park Place Cinemas.
Oh, yeah, that was a one-time thing. You're right. Okay, yeah. I'm sorry.
No, and it's fine. You know, we have an ongoing, every year around cinema as well that we operate. And what we have coming up next weekend is our annual Oscar party fundraiser.
Okay. It's just a fundraiser. Okay. So what exactly is going to go on here?
So, starting at 6 o'clock, you can show up at Taylor Books over there in the cafe. We'll have a big screen set up to watch the Oscars and the red carpet before that. And we'll have some music and some food and, just hang out and watch the Oscars all together and, celebrate movies.
And it's no coincidence it's being held on Oscar night, right?
Correct.
that's the whole...
That'd be a good time to have it, yeah.
Yeah. So have you done these in the past?
Oh, yeah. We usually do this every year.
Okay.
So it's
how many years approximately?
Oh, golly. I don't know. I've only been involved since like 2017.
Okay, were the films in black and white?
Yeah. I don't know if they ever were some of them were, Schindler's List 93. That was pretty recent black and white one.
Yeah.
And there's probably a couple this year nominated in certain categories.
Now, have you actually seen all the films that are nominated?
I have. I think this is the first year I've seen all the Best Picture nominees before they were even announced. Some years I have to catch up when you don't know.
Well, and what happens is, and I'm not as obviously the big movie guy like you are, but what happens frequently is that, some of these movies aren't available in your local theater sometimes, and you got to go travel to see them somewhere.
Yeah. Rigo and Nitro is actually playing all 10 Best Picture nominees this week.
Well, that's cool.
Yeah. So if you've missed some and you want to see them in the theater, there are a couple of them that, like, we've been the only ones to show in the Charleston area, and there's a couple that never showed here during their regular runs. So
okay, now what of the Best Picture nominees? What was your favorite?
My favorite is probably still Hamnet, but maybe Cinema Value or Begonia as well. But I think probably One Battle After Another or Sinners is going to win. So
I've heard a lot of chatter around Sinners. I haven't seen any of the movies. I do. I plan to see Sinners. That's one I do want to see. I've heard a lot of chatter about it.
Right.
And you said you saw it. What did you think of it?
No, it's really good. I'm not the horror fan, so it's not necessarily one that I would pick personally, but there's a lot to like about it. So, I mean, it is really well made, really well produced, a lot of great music in it.
It is interesting to me because, entertainment, Delford, has changed so much with streaming. Especially television shows. If you look at when the Emmys come out, a lot of times you may look at them, people may look at them and say, well, where do I even find this show? It's not the 3 networks anymore or 4 networks, it's on streaming, it's on this service, that service.
Well, and 3 of the Best Picture nominees, Frankenstein, F1 and Train Dreams were, streaming releases that only had, the minimum theatrical runs that they needed to qualify for the Oscars.
What is the minimum that they have to have?
Oh, I don't know. It's not very much, but that, like Frankenstein played, and the closest it played was in Athens for like a week.
Right.
So
Athens, Ohio.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's a college town. I figure it would play up there.
Right. Yeah. And then F1 was straight to Apple and Train Dreams straight to Netflix.
It's amazing how much it's changed. I mean, I talk a lot about how much the music industry's changed because I've been doing this for 38 years almost, and I remember, the Billboard Hot 100 and Casey Kasem and Radio and Records, and that's all change now because everything's based on, not even based on sales as much as it is downloads, and now we're seeing the same thing with movies and television.
I think music, comes out to streaming probably first, right?
Yeah.
And then you go see the artists, live.
Yeah.
So
and you just don't go buy CDs anymore.
Yeah, and then I still believe that going to the movies is is a different experience than watching it at home.
So. One of the films that we had a text about the show to the show about this not long ago.
Yeah,
I'm a big Elvis fan. Right. I grew up in a house of Elvis everything. And I saw the picture a couple of years ago that they did with Tom Hanks playing Colonel, Tom Parker. And the same guy who did that, Boz Luhrmann, has done this Elvis concert film now.
Yeah.
And I was talking to a friend of mine the other day that went to see it. He was the only person in the theater. He said, so I could sing along with it. But that's a kind of movie I think that you would really, from what I've been told about it, you really need to see it in a theater.
Yeah, I have not seen that one, but I know somebody who went to see it and they really enjoyed it. But I went to see in January all 3 Lord of the Rings films in cinemas again. So, and that was quite an audience there for those 3 nights. So,
all right, again, we're talking with Delford Chafin about this big Oscar party that they're going to have, their fundraiser, and talk about when you raise funds, where they go for the festival.
So, last year So last year, again, for anyone who doesn't know, we have a small 30-seat theater underneath Taylor Books. And last year we kicked off a fundraiser at our Oscar party to replace the seats in there. So we finally got that amount of money raised. And then it took, 9 months for the seats to actually be manufactured and shipped here. So we actually finally got those installed in January. So that's, just the money we raise goes to continue our operations. It allows us to play movies here that don't get shown here very often. Like I said, we as of this weekend, we have played all 5 best international feature films. The only place in Charleston to show all those, and just all the money we raise goes to back into our facilities and allows us to keep doing what we do.
Talking to Delford Chafin again. It's 9:16, the Dave Allen Show on 580 Live, brought to you in part by Generations Ford of Hurricane. Great deals continuing on their selection of used vehicles. Shop and compare any used vehicle at generationsford.com. But if you need service, ask about their works package and their pickup and delivery service too. Visit them today just off the Hurricane exit of I-64, one destination for every generation. Generations Ford. See dealer for details. All right, speaking of details, give us all the details on your event next week.
So it's at Taylor Books in the cafe. We're going to open the doors about 6. The Oscars start at 7. We have food coming from Bricks and Barrels, and then some desserts coming from Mia's Panaderia, which I'm not sure I pronounced that correct. But it's going to be some great food and just some great time watching the movies.
And where can people get tickets? Do they need to get them in advance?
They can on our website, wiff.org, or you can get them at the door. So.
All right, and it starts at 6 o'clock.
The doors will open at 6.
Right, and the Oscars actually Conan O'Brien is hosting again. What do you think of Conan as a host?
He's a pretty funny guy. I don't have strong opinions on the host either way. So
yeah. Well, I think sometimes what you have a lot in award shows is you have the host that tries to take over the show. And one of the things I like about Conan is that he knows the role. You know, he can do his little funnies here and there, but primarily it's about the pictures.
He was in one of the films this year that was, he was in If I Had Legs, I'd Kick You, which Rose Byrne is nominated for. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Good stuff. Delford, I appreciate you being here as always.
Thanks for having me.
All right. It's 9:18. Danny Jones coming up a little bit later on when we come back. Kanawha County Commission President Ben Salango's here. Coming back after this on the Voice of Charleston, WCHS.
Are you looking for a technical job in the medical field? Generations is growing and looking to add on job-trained physical therapy techs to our rehab team. To apply, visit one of our 7 convenient locations or simply click on us at generationspt.com.
Owning a home comes with responsibilities. The Kanawha County Sheriff's Office wants to remind you of a very important date. As of April 1st, unpaid 2025 taxes are considered delinquent. If you haven't paid your taxes by now, you have until May 1st to avoid publication. Remember, after April 1st, you cannot pay the half-year fee. You must pay the full year amount. Again, May 1st is the deadline to avoid publication. Visit kanawsheriff.us to learn more about paying your 2025 taxes.
Biggly Piggly Wiggly on Spring Street has served 3 generations of shoppers since 1955 as the largest locally owned independent grocery store in the area. The Joseph family owners grew up here, so you know they're invested in the community. They provide the biggest variety of choice meats, the freshest produce, in-house deli bakery, great wine selection, and more of your favorite brands. Every purchase gives you gasoline points so you can save at our pumps. Order online or pick up at BigglyPigglyWiggly.com. Not just any Piggly Wiggly, Biggly Piggly Wiggly.
Welcome back to the show, the Dave Allen Show on 580 Live, brought to you in part by Pinnacle Consultants, helping to identify environmental concerns, asbestos, lead, mold, indoor quality issues in buildings all across the great state of West Virginia, providing inspections, testing, and accredited lab services you can trust. Check out pinnaclecorp.net. It's pinnaclecorp.net, helping you understand your environment, because what you don't know can hurt you. Coming up a little bit later on, former Charleston Mayor Danny Jones is here. Biggly Piggly Wiggly hotline, 304-345-5858. Tony the Taylor text, 304-935-5008. Welcome into the show now, Kanawha County Commission President Ben Salango. How you doing, my friend?
Good morning. Doing well. How about you?
Doing well. We got a couple things I want to talk to you about this morning. Number one, how many of the Best Picture Oscars nominees have you seen?
Well, I don't even know who the nominees are, so my guess is probably 0.
Okay.
I did go see, what was the ping pong movie with Chalamet? Is that in the Best Pictures or not? I have no idea.
Ryan, can you help us with that ping pong movie with Chalamet?
What's that? I don't know. Honestly,
he wasn't paying attention. It's fine. It's fine. Apparently, a lot of people weren't.
I've only been to the movies like one time in the last 10 years.
Really? What did you see?
And it was that one. It was on Christmas Day. We went out in the evening and watched whatever that movie was. And I think maybe he was nominated for something, but honestly, I just don't watch movies.
I don't have the attention span. I wish I did. Now, I'll watch the classics. I mean, anytime I'm flipping, my wife knows, what's going to happen when Caddyshack is on, the cinema greats, Caddyshack, I'm trying to, Smokey the Bandit, of course.
Oh,
Kid of the 70s.
Yeah, for me, it is always Dumb and Dumber. If Dumb and Dumber's on, I'm watching. Yeah, I don't care. Godfather, which I love. 1 and 2. Yeah. Never 3. Yeah. Actually, I don't even play 3. So those are the ones that I always. Anytime A Christmas Story is on, I watch.
All right, I'm anything to do with the mob. I'm Goodfellas, Casino, any of those. You mentioned Godfather. I'm a big fan of Wall Street because greed
is good
in and of itself. Is good.
Gordon Gekko.
All right. This concludes film time with Siskel and Ebert. All right, a couple things I want to talk to you about, Ben. The commission put out a release last week opposing Mountaineer Gas rate hike request. Talk about that.
Well, people have rate hike fatigue, in Kanawha County, and it's honestly all over the state of West Virginia, but we are seeing it time and time again. It doesn't matter. You pick your favorite utility. They're coming into the Public Service Commission, and they're always asking for rate increases. Mountaineer Gas, I think it was about, I forget what percentage points, but it was, millions and millions of dollars. It's going to be hung on the back of everyone in West Virginia, but also in Kanawha County. that it's going to increase the monthly bill. And right now, everything is going up. Cost of goods is going up. We're watching, the news, the gas is going up. Everything's going up. And so typically the game that they play, and it's not just Mountaineer Gas, it's all utilities, they will come in and they'll ask for multiples of what they actually need, knowing that the Public Service Commission, and by the way, that's not the Kanawha County Commission. People get that confused. Public Service Commission. So
no, because you guys are actually elected.
Right.
You're actually elected.
And they will ask for multiples of what they actually need, understanding that the Public Service Commission is not going to get them everything, but then they walk out with maybe half of what they requested. And so they actually are satisfied with what they received. So the problem is this is going on over and over and over, and people's utility bills have doubled and tripled and quadrupled. I got my electric bill the other day, and I was shocked how high it was. I couldn't believe it. Like, I went back through the history over the last few years of paying my electric. It had never been that high. And that's what we're seeing. West Virginia has, the highest utilities in the nation, and just rate increase after rate increase. It's not sustainable. People can't pay it. People can't make the decision, I'm not going to have my medicine this month because I have to pay my gas bill or my electric bill. And that's what they're facing. It's just not sustainable. So we're opposing it. We have, over the last few years, even before I was on the commission, we'll go up to the Public Service Commission and testify, because we get a lot of the complaints, kind of where the commission, I say that county commissions and municipalities, that's kind of where the rubber meets the road. That's where people go and they make their complaints, even if it's a bigger issue, a state issue. If there's a pothole in a state road, well, guess what? The county doesn't maintain any roads, thankfully. But, we will get that and we will pass it on to the appropriate body. But same thing with utility rate hikes. People are sick of it, and something has to be done. There has to be a moratorium. There has to be some Public Service Commission could be elected.
Do you think they should be?
I don't know. I think it would, if anyone would ever serve a second term, that would be amazing.
They're term limited themselves.
I think it would be term limited. I'm not sure that that's the answer, but because then they would never approve a rate increase. And then sometimes, honestly, it's required. Like, you just have to have the maintenance. Right. Particularly you're talking about the power company with vegetation maintenance. You've got trees coming down and limbs coming down and knocking poles and lines out. I understand, and their costs go up too. But when you see, CEOs are taking on 40, 50, 60 million a year, and then they're coming and asking for more money from rate, it's tough to swallow. So I see points on both sides of it, and thankfully I'm not in the legislature and have to make that call.
Are you good to take a phone call? Speaking of calls,
oh, sure. Absolutely.
Somebody had a question for you. Let's go to Bob in Charleston. You're on with Ben Salango. Go ahead.
Well, my question was about Iran blocking the Straits of Hormuz. I'm puzzled by that. Is the reason they can block that is because they consider that their territorial waters and nobody would be allowed in it without their permission?
Yeah, and I heard that Hoppy Kercheval was going to do a segment today on the Iran issue, and he'll probably talk about that. My understanding is that's exactly why they do it, but that's
kind of out of the purview of the Kanawha County Commission.
Talking about escalating things even further. I mean, it's already seemingly as bad as it can get over there, but blocking that and will make it escalate even further.
Thank you.
All right. Anything new on the Sports Center?
Yeah, so I think there's still negotiations between the city and the whole group to try to determine whether or not part or all of the mall will be donated to the city. If that happens, then we will reconfigure the design to make it a one level, which will save money, and we'll be able to kind of probably make it bigger than we would have in the beginning. But I think that's kind of what we're waiting on now. So we received the federally directed spending, Senator Capito. Thank you so much. That was $7 million. That kind of put us over where we needed to be on the funding side. And now we're just waiting to see kind of what it's going to look like. If the whole group donates them all, then it'll be one level. It'll be larger. If they don't, then it'll be multi-levels like we had in that initial drawing.
Let's talk about jail bills. Jail bills, the commissioner, are something that every county, all 55 county commissions battle with and trying to get them under control.
It's one of the county's biggest expenses is, we got hit with the increase in the jail bill, increase in PIA. So we're kind of upside down on our budget to the tune of about $700,000. I think we've cut back on that. We got some more final numbers on the revenue side, last week. So we're probably looking at closer to $600,000, and we'll be able to fix that. There'll be cuts, just to make that happen. But the jail bill is our biggest expense. It's about $5 million a year. You think that through. That's $400,000 a month is what we're paying. So when someone is arrested, they go in front of a magistrate, and then they're kind of held awaiting trial. That adds to the county. I think it's $67.23 per day per inmate. And that adds up to about $400,000 a month. And so that's not sustainable because it's not going down. It just continues to rise. And so 2 years from now, it could be $6 million or $7 million a year. When we do that, we can't have money for other things like pay raises to employees or critical funding, EMS funding, those types of things. So we have to make some decisions. One of the things that we had proposed, and this was not, quite frankly, it was not my idea. It was the Center for Budget and Policy came out with a paper in the fall of 2024, and it was written by Sarah Whitaker, and it had a lot of good ideas for counties to reduce your jail bill. So we took that. I took that one weekend and just started tinkering with it to modify it to what would that look like in Kanawha County. And so we came up with a task force that's going to be funded with opioid money. It will help with opioid reduction, but also with decreasing the jail bill cost. The goal is to have essentially 4 people that will review daily incarcerations to make recommendations as to whether or not whether this person should be in jail or less, lesser options like home confinement or some of the other things that we can do there to reduce. So basically, they get out. If it's a non-violent crime, they would not be incarcerated awaiting trial. Only after trial would they be if they're convicted. And so the goal is to keep people safe, because we're dealing with most of this is like petty crimes or like minor drug offenses, those types of things. Nothing harsh, no felonies, nothing like that. That will not be affected by this. Basically to save the county money, to get people out, to get them into the job programs and home confinement if necessary.
Talking again with Kanawha County Commission President Ben Salango, Texas. Dave and Commissioner Salango, if we have the coal, why do we have the highest electricity cost? If we have the water, why are our water rates so high? You say it's because we're so hilly and transmission lines and water lines are so difficult to maintain. But our politicians need to figure out a way to make the electric and water companies figure out how to spread the wealth so we don't shoulder the burden. It's the same electricity. It's the same water.
Well, I agree. I think a lot of it is infrastructure. I think we have very old infrastructure. We have very old water lines, which we see time and time again. We have a lot of the utility lines were run forever ago, and they're failing. And there's simply not enough money to go in and fix it all at once. And I watched that report on McDowell County, and it's heartbreaking what's going on in McDowell County, that we can't somehow come up with a way to help them. But you're seeing that not just in McDowell, you're seeing it elsewhere, and it's a shame. But it is because of our archaic infrastructure, and it just was not maintained over the years.
Texas, the PSC is what happens when regulatory capture. Republicans and utilities have dominance over the actions of the PSC, no independence. It's so bad the PSC chair, who's effectively chief judge of rate increases requests, says she would never vote to close a coal-fired power plant. What if a magistrate judge said that in rent cases they'd never vote to evict a tenant? Would we be concerned about bias?
Well, if a magistrate said that in court, then he would have or she would have JIC problems. You're not allowed to project which way you're going to rule from the judiciary, but and this is not a Democratic or Republican issue. Whoever texted in is kind of focusing on the way it is now. This has been going on for a while. It's not like the rate increases just started in the last few years. This has been going on for quite some time. And so we're at a point where, quite frankly, it just can't go up anymore. I mean, people can't pay anymore. It's not like, income is going through the roof here in West Virginia. It's not. Things are somewhat stagnant. And so we've got to make sure that we're not raising people's utilities to where it's just not affordable.
Before we let you go, I want to get your opinion on something. You've been keeping a close eye on a bill in the legislature, and you've come on Metro News Midday. You've come on this show to talk about it as well, as it pertains to sentencing, murder cases, things like that. So we'll close up with that.
Well, again, this one is not a political issue. This was a personal issue, and West Virginia had been lagging behind in its mandatory sentencing for first-degree murder. And I know your next guest is Danny Jones, but 30 years ago, there was a young man working at Danny Jones's restaurant. It happened to be my wife's older brother, and he was murdered. And so Danny stood alongside us since that time, and we've shown up at parole hearing after parole hearing to try to keep the murderer, who was convicted of premeditated, intentional first-degree murder, to try to keep him in prison. It was shocking to us to realize that even back then, if you were sentenced to first-degree murder with mercy, you could actually come up for parole after only 10 years. So the legislature fixed that, made it 15 years. Now, a lot of people have to go through this. If there's no chance that the person's going to get out, yet they still have to appear every 1 to 3 years for these parole hearings, and it is absolutely heartbreaking and gut-wrenching to these families to have to live it over and over again. So on the House side, they proposed a bill. It's called Todd's Law, that was named after my brother-in-law, Todd Farley. And then also on the Senate side, SB 137. The Senate passed Senate Bill 137. It went over the House. It's the House bill, which made some revisions. They added Todd's Law into SB 137. It's on third reading today, and what that means is if it gets through the final vote, then it will go back to the Senate just for approval, and then it'll be on the governor's desk. This is something that is needed. I've caught some grief over this because I was kind of pushing it, but it's something that West Virginia needs. We need to be in alignment with the other states. West Virginia was, and Ohio had the lowest sentencing in the United States for someone convicted of first-degree murder with mercy. That's an intentional, premeditated killing, and they could get out after 15 years. In fact, it has happened. I went through the records, and it's happened where someone will intentionally kill somebody, and they get out after 15 years. It's shocking to me. Primarily, that doesn't happen, but it has. And so we've got to fix that. It shouldn't be, some discretionary thing just because they were a good boy for a few years in prison that somehow the parole board's going to let them out. You actually have to pay for that crime. That is the ultimate crime when you kill somebody, and to get out in 15 years is insulting to the families. It's insulting to the victims. Thankfully, the legislature's addressing that, and I certainly commend them for it.
Yeah, and again, I think sometimes the families are the ones that really, really suffer in this. And you talked about your personal story with your wife and having to go through this. And
and Danny, who's coming up next, he was there with us. I mean, he showed up at these parole hearings with us. It happened in his restaurant. It affected Tara's family since she was 16 years old. Every time this happens, I mean, it is turmoil. It also affected Danny's business. Keep in mind that he had one of the most successful barbecue businesses in the valley, and after this murder, people wouldn't go in the building, and it actually closed. It was called Danny's Rib House. It was in Nitro, but it affected him too. It affected everybody. The employees that were there that witnessed it were affected. Some of them had PTSD, had to go to counseling for years. It was a significant, life-changing event, and the fact that this person could get out after 10 or 15 years is appalling. That should never be the law. You shouldn't have to. There are property crimes. There are crimes against animals where you would spend more time in prison than if you killed somebody. And it's shocking to me that wasn't addressed before. But quite frankly, it wasn't on anybody's radar. But it is now. And as soon as the legislature, saw what was going on and realized that we were kind of lagging behind the other states, they took action. And I commend them for it.
Kanawha County Commissioner President Ben Salango, appreciate you being here.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks a lot. It's 24 away from 10. The aforementioned Danny Jones coming up next. The Dave Allen Show on 580 Live, brought to you in part by Husson's Pizza. This month, get a large 18-inch pepperoni pizza and a pepperoni calzone, $21.99. Find your local Husson's for pickup, dine-in, or delivery. HussonsPizza.com. Back after this on the Voice of Charleston, WCHS.
Brought to you by the Eric J. Tarr Family Businesses. Eric J. Tarr Family Businesses care for your family.
Poca Valley has proudly served the citizens of Roane, Kanawha, Putnam, and surrounding counties for over a century. As your trusted community bank, we're committed to building relationships and meeting your financial needs. And with the Poca Valley Visa card, you can enjoy competitive interest rates, no annual fees, and a rewarding points program, all from a bank you know and trust. Visit your local Poca Valley office to apply or call us. Poca Valley, where relationships matter. Member FDIC.
When I set out to build our firm, it was built for greatness. It was built for you. Morgan & Morgan, for the people.
Office 222 Capitol Street, Charleston. Cases will be handled by West Virginia licensed attorneys. The attorney in this ad is not licensed in West Virginia. ForThePeople.com.
Get ready for the March state basketball tournaments with Metro News TV. Download for live games, highlights and recaps, plus episodes of our exclusive interview series, State of Minds, and your favorite daily programs right on your smart TV or streaming device. Get more information at WVMetroNewsTV.com. Metro News Television is powered by the WV Department of Tourism, Dan Cavett GMC, the WVHTC Foundation, and WVU Medicine.
The latest in news, talk, and sports on 580 WCHS is brought to you by Jarrett Construction. Visit jarrett-construction.com for more information.
Right on time, right on budget. Call on Jarrett Construction.
Welcome back to the show. 22 away from 10. The Dave Allen Show on 580 Live, brought to you powered by Morgan & Morgan, America's largest injury law firm. A couple of quick texts says, understatement of the year, West Virginia incomes are somewhat stagnant. Text says, going back to movies, my cousin Vinny is an always watch when it's on. Text says, Dave, congratulations to the WVU women's basketball team on an amazing win yesterday against defending Big 12 champs TCU. For the first time since 2017, the Lady Mountaineers captured the Big 12 women's basketball tournament championship, and Morgantown will now be a host city for the first two rounds of the NCAA tournament. We'll have more on that coming up on Metro News Midday today. Speaking of which, on the show today, Metro News Midday, powered by Salango Law, 13 News and Tonight Live anchor Amanda Barron and me. We're going to introduce you to another great mayor from around the state of West Virginia in the Mayor Monday segment. Jeff Jenkins has the news. TJ Meadows will stop by. Unrelated to Mayor Monday, Huntington Mayor Patrick Farrell is on the show today. And, of course, Open Line West Virginia. Metro News Midday, powered by Salango Law, coming up at noon today. On this show, Tamar Taylor-Gue from the Clay Center is here, and we're gearing up for the annual Dad Jokes competition, benefiting the West Side Neighborhood Association. Rob Reel from our sister station 96.1 KWS will serve as the MC. We'll talk to him about it tomorrow. And Samantha Nygaard from the West Side Neighborhood Association will join us on the show. That is on tomorrow's show. So welcome in now our good friend, Danny Jones. How you doing, my friend?
I'm doing fine. Thank you.
So you want to hear real quickly how my day started?
All right.
So I've been very open about what, and you've been a very good friend to me going through this prostate cancer stuff. Mm-hmm. So today, 6:45 this morning, I'm at CAMC in Tays Valley to get a Lupron injection, basically to kill testosterone. All right. Now, when I told Chris Lawrence that, he got a big laugh out of that by saying, "Well, getting that Chris style, what you mean you had testosterone?" So basically, they had to, and right now I have no ill effects whatsoever. They tell me did you have to go through anything like with your prostate cancer?
I had it removed.
Okay. All right. Well, I'm doing the radiation route.
It was worse. What I went through was really bad.
You told me I
told you not to do it.
You told me not to do the removal, and I'm not.
I did it for one reason.
Yeah.
Because of those two boys.
Yeah, right.
I had them late in life.
Uh-huh.
And I wanted to make sure I stayed alive. Mm-hmm. And I'm 75.
Yeah.
And I'm still kicking.
Yeah. And so basically what they got to do is they got to kill my testosterone. So they said I could have hot flashes and things of that nature. So
when you're married, it goes away anyway.
So, look, I look at it like this. I'm 55 years old. I've had very little health issues. I had my appendix removed. I had a tonsillectomy. Never had a broken bone. Probably because I didn't have any testosterone. So eventually it hits, and I had a shoulder injury a couple of years ago. I had to undergo physical therapy got that straightened out, and now I got this. So it's all good. No symptoms. I'm going to kick it. I'm feeling good. But I appreciate your friendship and your guidance on everything, because you're one of the first people I reached out to. And I said, Danny, guess what? I got it.
if you live long enough, if you live to be 85, 2 out of 3 people have it. 2 out of 3 die.
And it's amazing to me, since I started talking about Danny, the number of people that have reached out to me and said, I went through that 10 years ago. I went through it. I'm going through it now. My dad just went through this, or my uncle went through it, or whatever. So, we got this. Did you want to follow up a little bit on what Ben Salango was talking about?
The murderer was named Glendale was named Dale Guthrie. The victim was Todd Farley, Judge Salango's brother.
Yeah.
He had another brother named Tracy, and Tracy was there that night too. And Todd said that he flipped a towel at him or something, so he wanted to kill him. But Guthrie didn't look the same when he walked in there that night. He usually spoke to me and everything, and how you doing? He didn't do any of that. I thought, this is weird. But Tracy told me when Todd was laying back there in the floor, gushing blood, he said, Danny, I think I should have told you this, but 3 days ago, Dale came up to me and asked me if I ever wondered what it'd feel like to kill somebody. He looked at it like, well, good-looking woman. He wanted to see what it felt like.
Mm-hmm.
That's exactly what happened. And he should never get out of jail.
Yeah,
because he might come after me.
I didn't realize until Commissioner Salango just told the story on it. He's been on the air several times talking about it, but I didn't know. I knew it happened at your restaurant there in Nitro, but I didn't realize that Ben said you had gone to the parole hearings with him.
I'll tell you another. I've been to a few of them. I'll tell you another story. Judge Knapp knew the mother, and Judge Knapp, federal judge, called me. Said, Danny, have you called Miss Farley? I said, no. He said, why? I said, I don't know what to say. He said, well, I listen to you on that radio every morning. You certainly have plenty to say there. You better think of something to say, and you better pick up that phone and call her. And that's what I did. So it was real sad. That day, I had 27 employees. When we reopened, I had 11.
And eventually, you closed the restaurant.
No, I kept the restaurant open, but I had to go back to work.
Yeah, right.
I had to work the line because we lost half our business, and then we started picking it up.
Mm-hmm.
And but I decided then I was coming back downtown.
Yeah,
and I really liked Nitro. I had a good life down there until then.
Yeah. So the big news internationally, Danny, and we talked about it last week, and the fighting continues to escalate in Iran and that general region. What's your take? What are you looking at?
Well, I support it.
Well, I know that, but I didn't know if there's anything in particular that.
I think that we need to be prepared to sacrifice. I bought a one-way ticket because I'm going to take a car out west and leave it, and I'm going to fly back. That's in April. Flying back on the coach seat costs $1,500. I used to be able to fly first class round trip for $1,500. So that's what you're looking at. That's what you're looking at now, and I'm urging people to be patient and be prepared to sacrifice. Iran declared war on us 47 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
This is not new. Trump just happened to be the one that put it forward. But I have another proposal to make. What's the name of the British prime? Is it Starmer of Great Britain? Something like his name.
Mm-hmm.
I can't think of his name. He would not let us use his airstrip to launch our airplanes from. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
It's one of our NATO partners. So I've been thinking a lot about this. And I think that...
Starmer, it is Starmer here.
I think it's time that I support Ukraine, but Ukraine's in Europe. And I think President Trump ought to call NATO, have a meeting and say, you know what? We're going to let you all take care of Ukraine from now on. And if you need any F-16s, we'll be glad to sell them to you.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to take care of Iran because that's more dangerous to us.
This war or the conflict, whatever you want to call it, in Iran is costing the country $1 billion a day.
That doesn't surprise me. That doesn't surprise me. And we have to do this. And I know a lot of people don't agree with it on both sides.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You know, you've got the America First, the MAGA crowd, and the left. They're against anything Trump's for.
Yeah, that's true.
But I lived through 1979. I was 29 years old and 444 days. And I think Carter blew it on a couple of ways. Yeah. First thing, he should have saved the Shah. The second thing, we should have gone in.
Yeah, they attempted that rescue.
No.
I'm just saying.
I remember.
My point was, I know they're two different things, but we attempted that rescue and it turned out very badly, which is one of the things I think. And again, you were 29 years old. I was 9 years old. But I remember watching it on television because, as a kid, in 1970s, you didn't have as many channels, is what you had. But I remember watching. And I remember that a lot of the American sentiment at that time really, and Jimmy Carter, despite the fact he probably was one of the best people to ever be president, one of the best people. Okay, you're rolling your eyes. That's okay. But he was a horrible president.
Yeah.
And that's when I think a lot of the sentiment, the economy sunk Carter, but I think this did too.
Those bombs that Trump dropped on the first nuclear, we should have dropped a bunch of those bombs when they did that. You can't let somebody. The Nazis didn't do that.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't take over embassies. Nobody ever takes over an embassy. It's but we allowed it. And the great thing about it was, one of the people that was killed was one of the people that took that embassy captive, and that was Ahmadinejad.
Mm-hmm.
And he got killed with the 40.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm very gleeful.
Think about for his perspective. I mean, this is a guy who spent 50 years in a war, in a sense, against America.
Mm-hmm.
And he ends up, dying in the conflict.
They killed their own people. Bonnie Sauter had to sneak out on a plane. He was the president of Iran. Yeah. Goatsbade was their spokesman here. They murdered him. They hung him.
And I've seen he's very well spoken. I'm not saying I agree with him. He's just very well spoken. And I forget the title, the Iranian foreign minister. He's made it on several shows. He was on Meet the Press, I think, yesterday. Very respectful when he speaks. But he said, and I even remarked to my wife about this because he even said on the show yesterday about how Americans were killing their people and we're not. And he made some statement. I'm very much paraphrasing here, Danny. Made some statement like, we're not the ones that are killing our people. They are. And I'm thinking, no, you've been killing a whole heck of a lot of your people for a number of years.
They make it up. They killed, we don't even know, somewhere between 20 and 40,000. Mm-hmm. When you control the media, I mean, they shut down the internet, and you know what the Iranian people needs a Second Amendment. We need to somehow, the idea or the Mossad need to get these people guns so they can defend themselves. Because the people with the guns, and they're dressed like undressed, they go out and just shoot people out in the street. It's a terrible bunch of people. And October 7th, in Beirut, when all those Marines got killed. Mm-hmm. That was Iran. Iran is the terrorist all over. And you had John Kerry thinks he pulled some kind of a weapons deal with them. It's ridiculous. It's like that prime minister from Great Britain that said he had I have in my hand a paper from Chancellor Hitler. Oh, I can't think of his name. What's his name?
Chamberlain?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they're like Chamberlain.
Right. One of the things that I thought was real, and we got to do this to go to break, there was a big protest in New York City over the weekend protesting the Iranian war. And I heard a clip. I was listening to the news yesterday morning on the radio, and I listened, and I heard a clip from one of the students that said, one of the young people, I should say, I'm presuming they were a student, who said something to the effect of, Iran doesn't have nuclear capabilities. They signed an agreement saying they don't have them. Mm-hmm. Oh, well, okay. As long as they signed it over, sure. All right, we got to take a break. The Dave Allen Show on 580 Live, brought to you in part by your hometown baseball team, the Charleston Dirty Birds, getting ready for the upcoming season with your season tickets. And get your merchandise to dirtybirdsbaseball.com. Back after this on the Voice of Charleston, WCHS.
Brought to you by the Eric J. Tarr Family Businesses. Eric J. Tarr Family Businesses have been creating jobs in West Virginia since 1997.
I'm Doug Leach, founder and CEO of Ascension Recovery Services. We've done a number of projects with Jarrett Construction. Finding people that really care about what they do and care about what we do is pretty unique. In Jarrett Construction, they care. They're really, really good people. Good people do the right thing, and they're very skilled. They have all the qualities that make up just a perfect construction partner, and they just build us a phenomenal building.
Right on time, right on budget. Call on Jarrett Construction.
Is your car lease about to end and you're not sure what comes next? You're not alone, and you've got options. Before you turn in your keys, talk to the lease experts at Members Choice West Virginia Federal Credit Union. Whether you want to buy your vehicle, trade it in, or start something new, MCWV FCU is here to help you make the smartest move with guidance you can trust. Don't guess, don't stress. Get the facts and explore your options today at memberschoicewv.com. Loans are subject to credit approval. Additional restrictions may apply.
Whether it's Friday Night Lights or everyday life, you need the right coverage to protect what matters most. At Caldwell Insurance Agency, we've got you covered. Auto, home, renters, business, and life insurance all across West Virginia. We're proud to cheer on and support our local high school sports teams because community matters. So, when life throws you a curveball, visit CaldwellInsuranceWV.com. Caldwell Insurance, protecting families, supporting communities, and always on your side.
Hey guys, it's Jim Strawn inviting you to the biggest and best St. Patty's Day party ever. March 14th from noon to close. Prime 101 is the place to be. $20 gets you a t-shirt and your first green beer on the house. There's live music all day long. Noon to close. There's 11:11. Josh Pantry will be there. The Shine, my man, DJ Woody Woods. Learn more and secure your ticket on Prime 101's Facebook page, 101 Capitol Street on Saturday, March the 14th. We'll see you there.
If you got a child who's a junior in high school in West Virginia, know someone does, your opportunity to win a full scholarship from West Virginia Wesleyan. Room, board, tuition, and fees all included. 19th Annual West Virginia Scholar Program presented by ZMM Architects and Engineers and the West Virginia Farm Bureau. Deadline to enter May 3rd. Details available at WVMetroNews.com. Again, the application deadline is May 3rd. Danny Jones is here. Text says, how long until we start seeing our own weapons being used by Iran against us in Israel because they were given to them by the Taliban, who had then gifted them, who would gifted them by Joe Biden's despicable withdrawal from Afghanistan?
Well, that's possible. I can't say. I thought, where's this going? I want to say something. I am not an America firster. I'm an internationalist. Mm-hmm. So, but when I talk about Ukraine, I'm for Ukraine. But let the Europeans handle that. Mm-hmm. They won't help us in Iran.
Of course, we lost a soldier who was from Logan County last week in the war because he volunteered to fight for Ukraine, and he was killed last week.
See, there's the problem we have here is, and we're not going to do it, you need ground troops.
You don't think ground troops go in at some point?
With us?
Yeah.
No.
Okay.
Won't happen.
Tex says Americans led an attack on the U.S. Capitol, but this was a beautiful thing, and all of them were political prisoners and hostages. Am I right, Danny? Or do your ethics apply only to killings that you like? I think you were pretty clear, like I was, about January 6th. You and I were on the same page there.
I think that's somebody. I was on the side of Liz Cheney.
Yeah.
And in her book, by the way, Mark Wayne Mullins, the guy just got appointed to, he was in charge on the House. He was a member of the House then, and he put himself in charge of the women. And he told Liz Cheney, he says, see that door right there? Go through the door. Take them with you. She said, got it. So the women, to try to get away from, because they were just about to break in the front door, and that's when they shot Ashley Babbitt.
Tex says, I think it's funny American history with Iran only goes back to 1979 and events after that. Before, nothing.
Well, in 1953, they had Mossadegh, and the British and us, we helped overthrow him. Mm-hmm. He was, he had some views that first thing, he nationalized the oil, which cost our country a lot of money. But the second thing was, we were in the middle of the Cold War, and he had some pretty warm relationships with the Red Bear. So I'm not sure why, but then we put the Shah back in charge. Mm-hmm. So if you want to look at something we own that maybe we shouldn't have done, or wasn't the right thing to do, or wasn't the moral thing to do, that would have been it.
Danny Jones, always a pleasure to have you on the show, my friend. Hang out with me here 1 second. TJ Meadows coming up with Talkline. I do want to mention real quick, speaking of Iran, second hour of Talkline. TJ gets on the golf course earlier today because Hoppy will be in at 11 o'clock today. He's going to do a special Talkline on nothing but Iran. Hoppy will be hosting that at 11 o'clock today, second hour Talkline. Mr. Meadows, what you got?
Coming up at 10:45, Dr. Lyle Burgoon. He's a food safety expert. He says additives aren't bad. He says they're not harmful. He says this legislation and the court case in West Virginia, we shouldn't have done it. So we'll talk to him and get more. Brad McElhaney at 10:33, Kayla Young at 10:06. Plus, Dave and I are going to talk about that social media post Governor Morrissey made on Friday about taxes.
Okay.
Not meaningful. He says it's not meaningful.
So that was a shot he took?
I think so. Read my commentary today. You can tell me if I'm right or wrong.
All right. And you'll be back with us for a portion of Metro News Midday today, which comes your way at noon. On this show tomorrow, Taylor Gue from the Clay Center will stop by, and more on the Dad Jokes competition with the Westside Neighborhood Association. I'll see you later today. Till then, have fun and love somebody.
WCHS AM 96.5 FM Charleston, 104.5 Cross Lanes, a WVRC media station. We're proud to live here too.